For choosing the egg crash vehicle unit. This is a 2-week unit in technology. And this unit features a lot of safety on cars. The original idea behind the unit was developed by a company called Kelvin Electronics. And the cars are pretty much the same, but what you have to do is come up with some safety systems. So your passenger, you're going to take your car and you're going to crash it into a wall and hope that your passenger survives. That's how you're going to be graded too. We start with a plan sheet. There's going to be 2 videos to watch and some questions to answer here. And then most of the stuff is activity for the crashed car and some specifications. Now, despite being a lot of words there, the specifications aren't that tight, and I'll explain that in a minute. Then on the back are costs. Now, this is one of these units. As long as you don't abuse the material, it is free. And in most cases, I can give you extra parts if you need them, if there's a good reason. But it's also one of these units that we don't want to abuse material. We'll get to that before we're done with the tape. Now, this is a car. This is a crash car. Now, I don't usually get the beauties, the really great ones. And if we're going to look into here, I can't see it too much, but the seat is actually broken loose when this car crashed, which probably caused some damage to the passenger. And while it's probably not very clear in the video, our seat is actually part of an egg crate, because our passenger is going to be a hard-boiled egg. And when you go into and read the specifications here, we're going to start, everybody starts with the same body. This is pre-printed by the Kelvin company. And so the shape is virtually the same for everybody. And the way of putting the wheels on, these are CO2 car type wheels. The axles and the wheel bearings are virtually the same. You'll be given X number of inches of this small basswood that you need to reinforce your car with. And then you have to have some safety systems. One here is a 5-mile-an-hour bumper. I don't know if it really survives 5 miles an hour, but it's a piece of foam. Now, this is a unit where you may have some homework, because how are you going to get, what kind of safety systems are you going to put in there? Now, you can see me at the beginning of the period, because if I get this foam in, I try to keep it if it comes in. But you may have to kind of go through your house and see what you can find. One way to keep your egg in is with seat belts, but seat belts, and that's spoken to in your plan sheet, have to be fairly thin. They have to be kind of a scale size. You can't just tape it in with 1/2-inch tape. You could put in, I've had some kids use little balloons as your explosion dash, your airbag type dash. But they have to be somewhat realistic, and you need at least 3 of those in there. You can decorate your car. This one will sense of humor, ouch, and crash here in the back. Okay, so the cars are pretty much the same. They're the same shape, the same wheels. You're going to get the same amount of balsa wood for reinforcing. So the engineering is what kind of safety systems. And after you watch the videotapes, and we do have 2 videotapes here, Automotive Crash Design, this one is reducing your risk in the crash, and Automotive Safety Systems Explained. And I might add, these 2 units, these 2 videos are extremely good for home life, for home use in cars. It's kind of an eye-opener when you watch both of these on, when they show some of these crash test dummies and stuff. Now we're going to go down and look at the actual, they call it the Kelvin Crasher. Kelvin, again, was the company that came up with this unit and manufactured the unit. And this is where we're going to test your cars. Now remember, you got to, of course, complete your car, and you got to get a hold of me, because I'm the one that's going to give you the grade. I grade by the standards on that sheet, but we have to see how the actual car is going to do. This unit, your passenger, is a hard-boiled egg. Now, we use hard-boiled eggs because fresh eggs, when they crack, there can be some danger in their salmonella poisoning, and they're gooey, they're messy, and they're kind of nasty to clean up. So we use a hard-boiled egg. Now, once we're done, we do not eat the victim, the passenger. I cook these eggs at home, and I have a little refrigerator in my office, and I think they're okay, but just because, they may sit in the refrigerator for a week or 2. I'll try to cook them when you need them, but we don't go around eating them, and that's, again, just so we don't get any kind of illness. Now, your car sits here, and it actually comes back here. I'm not going to actually move this car, but this comes back. This is surgical tubing, and there's a door lock thing there that you see here. And when you let down and let go, and then some if your car is designed well, it's going to come out intact. It needs something to absorb the shock of stopping all of a sudden. But I've also seen it where the egg comes out, they'll fall on the floor, they'll go rolling down on our track road, and that's kind of what makes the assignment exciting. So this unit, we start out with a couple of videotapes and a few questions, but most of it's hands-on, and most of it you're going to work on down here in the wood shop end. We'll start up there in the transportation unit and do the videotape and the questions, but that's not going to take more than about 2 days. Then we actually come down here and do our actual